Okay, so we're talking again about easiest campaigns, and we're going to look at High Elves today. I'm going to start with Eltharion, who I think is one of the easiest campaigns, but only if you play him two of the three ways that you can play him. So you have the option to start over here. Excuse me, got a cough today. You're going to start with an army off the coast of Granty Mingal, and you're going to start with an army back here in Torivres. And after you capture your first settlement, you're given the option to maintain control of Torivres or to abandon it for the wastelands. And you get different bonuses depending on what you do. You get influence if you stay here. You get money if you stay here. And the third option is that you maintain control of Torivres, but then you disband Eltharion or bring him home and concentrate on this one. I think those two make this a really easy campaign. If you stay in both areas, you have your income split between two locations, and it can make things a little more difficult. So we're going to focus on what happens if you pick one of the two. I played both before. The one I generally prefer is to disband Eltharion, bring him home, and work from Ulthuan. So you start off against a really easy foe. It's I think it's Skull Crag, something like that. They control all of the areas down here, and you're able to use your mechanic, your unique mechanic, against them to farm the points for your unique mechanic, which is this Warden's, what is it called? Warden's Supplies. So we'll take a look at this in just a moment. So the start is relatively simple here. You're going to fight Skullcrag, and then you're going to pin them down to this one settlement. Every turn they're going to pop a new leader in there, and you're going to just hit that leader, capture that leader, and generate Warden supplies. Now if you abandon Ulthuan, I believe they give this to Tyrion, and you're in the Badlands, this has become slightly different as a campaign, but still relatively simple. You can take Granty Mingal, you give up Ulthuan, you get a bunch of money that'll tide you over, and you can start capturing the settlements over here towards your victory. Your victory is to eliminate an orc faction here. That's easy, they get absorbed. An orc faction here, that's easy because Scarbrand will take them out. And you also have to take out Scarbrand himself. I believe I just did that here at Death Gorge. That's what triggered the short victory. You don't have to face Wurzag anymore. Wurzag himself has been moved down here. I think he's actually still one of the people you have to get rid of. Yeah, you have to get rid of Wurzag. I didn't have to fight Wurzag. He was taken out, as you can see, by Volkmar and Kairos, of all people. So that was relatively easy. Again, I don't normally play beyond winning a game's victory conditions, and I often don't play past 60 or 70 turns anyway. But the conditions for a win here are relatively simple. So let's see, what are we going to do? We're going to take a look at Eltharion himself. He's not the greatest lord, he's a bit of a mix. But I've played him quite a bit. He's the high elf I play the most.
Yes.
He has a typical line. He's got all the usual high elf stuff here. He's got his unique line and he's got his spell line. To make the best of his spells, you've got really cheap healing here. You've got a good damage spell. This, of course, Fiery Convocation, very, very strong spell if you can get the enemy to sit still inside its effect. These are all from a mod, so you can ignore those. Where he shines is his unique line because it plays into his abilities. So this is just for him. This one here adds the unending volley for missile units. Now this was extraordinarily nerfed because on release every unit in Eltharion's army replenished ammo every 20-30 seconds, something like that. What does it say? 25 seconds. Now you can see it says range unit 1, so only one unit. Now that makes sieges relatively easy because as long as you have one artillery piece, it can just fire forever. It takes a while, but if you're patient, you can take out all the towers, breach all the walls. Also, this has been reduced in importance because you can now get an object through rewards that you can give to people that provides the unending volley. So that was nerfed, but it does mean that you could, say, take your one unit of sisters or your one unit of some other unit, stick it at a spot on the wall, and it can just fire forever over the wall, hitting people. Not particularly big deal here because I don't do any defending. This one here, enemy leadership reduction, is good. Fighting against greenskins, obviously. This one's very good. Campaign movement range, global recruitment, and recruitment cost for his army. And then again, this one here is also very good. This replaces martial mastery and martial prowess, which are the high elf ability to improve their combat stats, and they get this. Alright, so everybody on the map that's with him gets melee defense and melee attack, and I'm going to show you the effects of that in a minute. Finally, this dedication to Alarielle provides weapon strength and missile strength for his Mistwalker units. Those are the special units that we're going to look at in a minute. So what is he doing to his army? If we take a look at, see if we can find a regular settlement. If we find a regular settlement here, what units do we have in there we can look at? Down. I don't know that I have the Mistwalker units in here. If you look at a regular archer, regular archer, what's it got? It's got 16, 14, and 22 missile strength. What has it got in here?
Fang sword bites deep.
I mean, these guys are way, way upgraded. Yeah, that didn't really show it. I want to show you these guys here. Look at this stat line here. Melee attack 51, melee defense of 64. He has a bonus that he provides through the skill tree, that melee attack and melee defense. Additionally, if you look on here, recruit rank for spear infantry and ranger units, and then his personal skills. Melee defense for spear infantry and ranger. It's anything that has a spear, so that's Lothern Seaguard and the Mistwalker units in here. And it's these Mistwalker units that I think are the most fun to play. They are extremely steadfast, they can hold the line, they do a lot of damage. The Spire Guard, they come with a lot of ammunition. Right here they have this stockpiles, anti-large charge defense, and with him ranked up, excellent values. And then these guys here, the Sentinels, they fire really slowly, but they have a much longer range. And the Shieldbreaker ability reduces enemy ability to block that. So I think that leaning into these is good. Where does that come from? In the Tor of Rest basic building line, you have access to these guys. You have access to a limited number. That number can be increased by gaining these skills over here. Alright, so this one, there's 2 levels to each of these things. So recruit rank and Ladriel's blessings are the points for the blue line. Unit capacity, and then leadership, melee attack and melee defense. So he's got another 10 melee attack and melee defense there for the Mistwalkers. It makes them ridiculously strong. Over here, influence every turn. This one here, Mists of Tor of Rest, that's good for when you're defending, which I don't do a lot of. And finally this one, this allows you to open up an interrogation spot and to interrogate prisoners. Now, what is this whole thing, Alpha Tamara? Well, this is Malekith. We captured him in a battle, and now we are holding him in a cell, so he cannot return to the battlefield. So while we're fighting in Nagarond, there will be he will never show up on the battlefield. So I think that it's easy to play Eltharion if you stay in Ulthuan. I think it's easy to play Eltharion if you stay in the Badlands on just him. I think it's much more difficult to stay in both. So if you're looking for the challenging version of this campaign, try that one. If you want the easy one, stay at home. If you want to get the Mistwalker units, which I think are just fun to use, you want to use, this line here. If you don't, if you go to the Badlands, then in each of the settlements that is not at home, you can build one of these things that allows access to those units. In Warhammer 2, you did get access to one of these, Knights of Torgaval. These things are absolutely ridiculously fun to use. It's a unit of 4 guys riding on a flying beast. They cause terror. And they can fly into enemy infantry and basically tear them up. My favorite mechanic in this campaign is to get a noble early on, and then in combination with Eltharion and Caval casting his Spirit Leech and the noble, you can Lord Snipe pretty easily. Okay, so let's go take a look at... I think we have to start a new one yet, because it's been so long. Let's do a new one. We're going to take a look at, obviously, the starting campaign.
Summon the Elector Counts. I
Take a look at Tyrion. If you are a brand new player to the game itself, not even playing on Legendary, then this is probably the campaign you want to begin with. Tyrion gives you a lot of easy bonuses. He's very easy to use. He has some good benefits and some very good settlements. I don't play a lot of Tyrion because it's kind of like a bit too easy. I think my last campaign with him was a couple of years ago when I played with some mods. So Tyrion's start position, he has one of the best settlements in the game. He has Lothern. He has the Elven economy behind him, which is pretty good. His first enemy is a minor Dark Elves faction. His win condition is to eliminate Cult of Pleasure and Nagron, which does mean it's relatively difficult campaign in terms of length, because he has to go all the way up here. Now it's possible that she might get wiped out, but it's unlikely. But Nagron, Malekith, he never gets wiped out. So it's an easy campaign to play. It's a long slog if you want to win it via victory conditions. But this minor elf faction is good practice for you. You'll get practice in fighting against cavalry and infantry and archery. You don't even have to fight them as a beginner. You can just sit here piling up troops and then stomp them. So if that's his start, what about the Lord himself, Tyrion?
Protector of the Everqueen.
His faction mechanic here, he has higher relations with the High Elves for Confederation. And he has local recruitment duration, -1 for infantry and cavalry. That means that the upper level infantry and cavalry he can get in 1 turn. Personally, that upkeep for spearmen, Silvering Guard, Rangers, Archers, and Silver Helms in his army means you can pack his army, grow it at the beginning, and still have plenty of cash. And he also gets a +3 rank for Lothern Sea Guard, which are the spear and archery combination. In his personal line, this is where his true strength comes out. You have 2 choices. This is the one that makes him really good on the battlefield. But I think everybody agrees that this is the one that you want to take. Okay, this one here, not major, just adds hold the line, which means anybody near him becomes a little stronger in combat. But here we can see his diplomatic relations go up and control and income increase. This one here, his recruitment cost and his global recruitment goes down, so he can recruit armies very quickly. And here we see cheaper armies all around. And that's the other one. You can do an opt-out here. One of these is, there it is, upkeep again for spearmen, rangers, and archers. And then everything else is pretty much just him. He does have some excellent items. This one here, right, heals a quarter of his health, right, for in a second. It's a burst of life-saving hit points. It happens when his hit points go below 25%. It's automatic. He's got this area ability he can use, is it once or twice, for Sunfang? And he's got some good physical resistance and ward save in his armor. He is tanky. He's not ranged, so you can essentially just charge him into the enemy. And he will be able to stand there for a while and take that hit. They give him a Heaven's Mage to begin with. You will very quickly get access to Aranan's Thunderbolt, which you can use along with Windblast to punish the troops that blob up around him. He's pretty much invincible on the lower levels, and as long as he's just working against 1 or 2 units when he's on his own, he can hold them off very easily. You do want to be careful when he's fighting High Elves at the beginning, especially if you get him on his horse, because they may have dread spears. Most High Elf units do have pretty good armor piercing. Finally, what units are best for him? Just any of the basic units. He is an exemplary indicator of how you can take the simplest units, the best units for a specific faction, which for High Elves is usually archers, and use them to their best capability. In your settlement here, part of Lothern, you do not get Seaguard here, but the Seaguard are part of this one here, and they're also a part of this harbor that you're going to want to build. So he's going to probably get access to them without taking a build spot. But early on, getting access to higher ranking Seaguard, they are both a line holder and an offensive unit. So again, the very forgiving campaign at the beginning. You'll want to use Tyrion to maybe attack Safari to take it over. If you don't, then Avalorn will do it when you can confederate them. He tends to have an easy time confederating people because he gets that 30-point bonus, 10 points from here, 20 points from his skill line. Alright, let's go on to the last one. I think that Avalorn is a very easy faction to play because of the bonuses that you get primarily from Alarielle, and she has, of course, one of the most famous fun units to play. That's the Sisters of Avalorn. That is a DLC. I think it's the Maiden and the Crone. I'm not sure which one it is. I just bought a bunch of DLC one day and didn't really notice what went with what. Alright, so let's go back here. You can see I've confederated a lot of Ulthuan. So her start position, she too will fight a minor High Elf faction. It's, what are they? Cult of Cain, Scourge of Cain. She has to defeat them. And the Cult of Access, they're the ones that start with Tyrion, and the Seducers of Slaanesh. So her defeat category is easy. It's all people that are part of Ulthuan. And then she has to take over 30 territories. Ulthuan itself is pretty much 30. So as long as she just unites Ulthuan, she's going to get the win that you're looking for if you play victory conditions. She's probably going to start here, fight a minor battle, fight for this one, and then this one. That gives her this territory. Then you want to start on the gates. Scourge of Cain is over here, and then Kari and Slaanesh are over here. So she has a pretty easy start. She has Safari here. As you can see, I took it over. Once you've dealt with these guys, or while you're dealing with them, you can come down and take this out. It's probably the hardest early portion of your campaign, is having to fight other High Elves, but you just you do a sneak attack, you can use some ambushes, you can take her out pretty easily. This is not the easiest territory to grow up, but it does come with this unique building here, which is good for late level mages, if you get that far. So what about Alarielle herself? she
Alarielle
has some
the Everqueen.
particularly good global bonuses. So her quest items, yes, we have them both. The shield stone here gives her ward save, melee defense, and physical resistance to anybody nearby. And then her stave of Avalon, that one just at the beginning, you just pop that off at the beginning of every battle to increase your magic. And then if you look at the group, right, control in all provinces and ward save. This is good stuff. She starts with this one here, Banner of Avalon, that augments the winds, and she starts with this item here. This is probably the one I started with. It increases the reload skill, just makes them fire a little bit faster. You got to be careful though, because the game likes to put that on an infantry unit when you start the game. Alright, so she has 2 lines, alright, exclusive lines. This one here makes the army a little bit stronger. The better one is going to be this one here. Here you're going to get control everywhere. Having control increases the amount of money you make, decreases rebellions. Faction-wide increase in income there. This one here, construction for wherever she is, diplomacy with high elves, just like Tyrion does. This one here, hero recruitment for handmaiden anywhere, capacity for handmaidens. Handmaidens, pretty decent heroes. They've got a good skill tree we'll take a look at. And then corruption, local recruitment for sisters, and that's the one you're heading for. The ability to get sisters in 1 turn instead of 2 turns, it's really huge. Otherwise, somebody has to sit around recruiting them and then bring the army to her. She's got a combination spell line in here, healing, right, which is really good. She doesn't really have a lot of damaging spells. Banishment, but it's not good against armor. Arcane Unforging is good against individual units. And then later in the game, when you're playing against high elves who have a lot of dark elves who have flying mounts, Tempest could be good for damaging them. She's got the Chaos Bane melee attack for her army against the bad guys, and then the Ward of Isha's ward save for her. She does fly pretty quickly, so she can get around the battlefield. So the unit, I think, the best unit for her is probably going to be the Sisters of Avalon. They're an elite level archery unit. You can see I've put Treekin in the army. They're there to create a front line. Where on earth does she get those from? She happens to have that as part of her settlement line back home. This is a nice little treat here. You get this one here on its own. It's a standalone building. It's part of this tree here and comes at level 4, I believe, for all the other elves. She can get it at level 3, and it gets her handmaidens. There's some great benefits in the handmaidens themselves, although they're accessible to everybody else. She's obviously the one who's going to get them most of the time, and she's going to get a lot of them. Where's the one? There's a particularly nice skill line. Melee defense here, then melee defense again here, and then this line I like, diplomatic relations here, diplomatic relations with everybody again here, income, and then this one here, influence per turn. I almost always go down this line. The sisters, they can be tough to recruit, as noted, because you have to have a specific building that really is, only recruits them. But it's like the Shadow Warriors and Shadow Walkers for Eltharion. You can get these guys. How many of those do I have? I have 4 and I can recruit up to 9. I'm in the process of recruiting some mages. The mages, this one here, she's fecund, that's growth, so I just move her around. We've probably got all these guys sitting in a spot to gain skills. I'm not sure what they're all doing, or maybe they're on their way somewhere. There's a beautiful little ability you can get. Illumination? This one here. Like this ancillary research rate and winds of magic, so you can get your research rate going. That's the wrong button. Slowly increasing for the high elves. So she also has this terrific ability that when she's moving around the territories, she gives bonuses to them. There's probably nothing here. I've left it a long time ago. You can tell who has one. Here we go. You can see the glow here, and you can see this counter. So if she ends her turn in a region, she generates all of these bonuses. And this lasts 10 turns. Oftentimes when I confederate her, I have her do the grand tour, just walk through the territories providing bonuses. So you can see that she's basically been fighting up here against these guys for a while. I think this campaign was won. Yeah, so I'm just messing around at this point. Or I may have just won it. But I think all the High Elves are a relatively easy faction. The 3 that I've showed you are the easiest by far. Teclis has a difficult campaign. He starts in the Southlands. He has Kairos to fight. He has Warzak to fight against. Eltharion starts over here. He has his ambush techniques, but he does. It's a bit of a messy campaign fighting against the Dark Elves. And then who's the other one? Imrek starts out in the Badlands, and he has a pretty rough campaign out there. So these are going to definitely be your easiest 3. If you're looking for the easiest of them all, it's definitely going to be Tyrion. Cheap, easy army that you can build at the beginning. Nice, juicy territory. One of the best settlements in the entire game in Northern. I think Eltharion is my most favorite campaign for the fun of the Mistwalker chain. And then Alarielle is pretty good fun to play. Same easy elf mechanics with her own coloring to it. And the 3 of them can confederate one another pretty easily if you sit back here in all of one.